Quentin, and this is Social, my API backend MongoDB Insomnia social media program. And we'll start by looking at my file structure here on VS Code. We've got our configuration files. This will actually build the database on MongoDB. We've got our controller files for user and thought. This will tell it how to build each user and thought object. Our models will tell us what information is needed for each one of those objects, users and thought. Routes will control where all the information is sent based on your URL bar. And our server file will start the whole program off whenever we run npm run dev in our terminal. You see here we've got MongoDB connected successfully and API running on port 3001. So that means we're good to go in VS Code. We'll switch to Insomnia to check our APIs and test that everything's working. We've got a folder here for users, thoughts, reactions, and friends. We can start with users and create a user. This will be a post request, and we'll see our API/users. When we input information in our body in a JSON format, it will save to our users array. So this is the username and email I just entered. We've got a 200 OK message because the request was successful, and we've got a new user ID that was assigned to it. So we can go through and create multiple users. There's a second. There's a third. We'll pay attention to the email here. And why don't we go ahead and update this user with a put request. And we're just going to change our URL to users/the ID. And we got the ID from find users, which is just a get request/users. We send that, it's successful, and we can see a whole list of all users. So in this instance, we'll just copy our user ID. We'll go to put users/ID, and then we can just change our email address. So we'll see when we send, it's going to update that user profile. We could do the same thing with delete. We'll go here and choose one of these. Maybe we'll delete new user. We just copy our ID, go to delete, make sure we're on our delete method, and we'll do the same thing. Users/, and we'll paste the ID we just copied. We'll get an OK message, and the user and associated thoughts were deleted. We could also go to get to find more users, but this time instead of all users, we'll specify a specific user ID, and then there is the user profile that's returned. So that's it for users. Let's add some thoughts to some of these users. Again, with a post method, we just post to thoughts, and in our body, we'll tell it what we want the thought to be. The actual thought text and which user we want to add that thought to, the username and the user ID, and then whenever we send and we get a successful message there, you'll see that that thought has been added to that ID. You could get all of the thoughts, and that will show you every thought for every user. I think that's it for thoughts. So we can go to reactions. We could post a new reaction to create. Well, in this instance, we want to post reactions to the thoughts. So we're going to post our new reaction to a specific thought. So our route will be /thoughts, and then we'll have to use the thought ID. So we got that from our get method we used earlier to search for all of the thoughts. So now we're going to add this reaction, and you'll see it here. This is a great thought. Reaction, it gets its own reaction ID, and it timestamps when it was created. We could follow a similar path, a similar route to delete. a specific reaction. We'll do the same thing where we go to our thoughts following that route, and we use our thought ID, and then we'll specify which reaction we want to delete. And you'll notice that it is no longer in our reaction count. We've only got one left. So we'll move on to friends. We want to add a friend first. In our route, we'll post, because we're going to be adding a friend to a profile. We'll specify which user and user ID that we're going to add a friend to, and then which friend and this second user, the user that will become the friend. We don't have to put anything in the JSON body of this one because all the directions are in the routes here. So we send that, and now we've got friend count of 3. We could go and remove a friend the same way. Follow the route, delete, use our localhost 3001, API, users, the user ID for the main friend that the main user that you're removing a friend from, and then which friend is being removed from that friend array. And you'll see the friend count updated here, and the list of user IDs in the friends array is updated as well. That is social. Thank you for watching.